Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Last Son, and today we're going to go over TEW IX's Development Journal, Day 3. Just posted about 3 hours ago, so let's just head right into the new features, starting with geotags. The new system, geotags, has been introduced to companies, events, and locations in order to allow an easy way for database makers to subdivide the game's regions and create realistic, restricted access from where companies can go. So this will allow a company limited only to running shows in, like, for example, Glasgow, well, at a small size, rather than showing up all over Scotland, which would be kind of unrealistic, I guess. As this system, despite being quite simple, it can be quite difficult to explain it when you don't have the game in front of you to see it in action. They've done a detailed description below with the following example. So each venue can have up to 5 geotags of 30 characters each. If they're used, they allow the venue to be situated within specific subdivisions of a region. So it says, for example, let's make 3 venues in southern England region with their geotags and brackets. Lambeth Hall, London, South London, Lambeth, Chelsea Arena, London, West London, Chelsea, and London Pub, no geotags. So companies and events will work in that same exact way. Each can optionally have 1 geotag defined for each of the first 3 company sizes: insignificant, tiny, and small. The tag is given, that means that at that size, the company should not be venturing outside of that regional subdivision. So we may have a company that's defined as Lambeth at insignificant, South London at tiny, and London at small. This would simulate the company slowly expanding as it got bigger. Note that the sizes above small do not have geotags. It's because once a company becomes small or above, they naturally are not restricted below the regional structure. The way the system functions is that the company at that size has an associated geotag. The AI will only be able to go to a venue that either has the same geotag or has no geotags at all. If the company has no geotag at that size, then that means they have no limitations on where they can go. So what I'm basically getting from this is it's going to hopefully help, database modders to come up with ways to show realistically a company where they can go, and as they grow, expand their influence around their regional areas. So that way you don't have a small company, for example, let's say in Japan, a tiny little company in Japan going to America and touring America. So they do go into some examples. So at insignificant size, our example company would be able to go to Lambeth Hall because they share the tag Lambeth, or London Pub because that venue has no tags at all. They can't go to Chelsea Arena because that venue has tags that does not share with them. So at tiny, they could go to Lambeth Hall, London Pub, but they still can't go to Chelsea Arena. At small, they can go basically to Lambeth Hall, London Pub, and Chelsea Arena because they all share the same tag. Once past the small, the company can go to any venue in southern England as it's no longer bound by the geotag system. If an event has any geotags, that is what is used for the calculation, not the companies. So if an event has no geotags filled in, then the companies are used instead. So this means you can set it up so that certain events can break the company's normal restrictions. So maybe you have a show that is intentionally an anomaly, like a London company heading down to the Edinburgh to perform an annual show each summer. So it's important to note that this only applies to AI booking. The user is free to go wherever they like, whenever they like, and is automatically ignored if a show has been assigned a fixed location. In order to make life easier for both database makers and people setting things up during a save game, whenever there's a place to fill in a geotag, you would find an icon next to it. Clicking this will bring up a master list of geotags currently in the game, together with the information on what they're currently linked to. You can then just click on the one you automatically want to fill in. Takes away a lot of typing, removes chances of typos. So it's going to be a very simple system to use. Just text tags, but it means you can effectively subdivide any of the game's regions into smaller subregions. So hopefully this will give the database makers some new tools to build what they want geographically for the companies. We'll see how it goes into play when it comes into the beta. So the next feature, real heights and weights. By popular request, instead of size categories, we'll now use real heights and weights. So heights range from 3 foot to 8 foot. The weight range is from 75 to 800 pounds. As a natural consequence of this, everything that used to refer to size categories, such as the weight limit on belts or the search facilities, is also now switched to the new system. This gives a more realistic feel to the game, makes it easier to get a sense of how big a worker is, and how it also allows a finer degree of control. Now, I kind of like the weight, so the size categories, because that way I wonder if they'll put it in where junior heavyweights, for example, would be under this weight limit. I don't want them to get rid of the term junior heavyweight. Hopefully they combine the two. So if you are converting your save games or your databases, it's automatically going to use a best guess appropriate value for TEW 9 based on the 2020 size category used. This means that databases will be usable without requiring any editing, but for obvious reasons, it does mean that database makers will need to put in some significant work in order to get everyone to their exact real height and real weight if they want absolute precision. There's editing tools to help with this, which will be described in another journal entry. So that could be good or bad. It's going to add more work, obviously, to all the database makers and modders. But it could get them to where we get precise people as they, even historically, you could get people weighing what they should be and being the height that they were in real life. So adjustable weight divisions, tying into the previous change, the junior heavyweight limit for each company can now be set to a specific weight. That's good. I was wondering about that earlier. So this will allow companies to operate differently if they want to. Tone down politics. By request, the departure of workers into politics have been toned down in the terms of its frequency. Additionally, there's now a 3-month warning period before a worker actually leaves. Training facility weights, it can be now set with a minimum and maximum weights for graduates, allowing database makers to have a finer degree of control over which students come out of each place. We'll get expanded belt descriptions. By request, the available space for writing profiles for title belts have been quadrupled, now standing at 1,000 characters. This allows people more room to refer to the belt's former history, champions, etc. And finally, the last thing we're going to talk about is the Cornell verse / pictures. It says this is an addition or a change, but some people ask about the Cornell verse default data, and I'll cover that here. Cornell verse will move forward 2 years, meaning that it will begin in January 2022. The reason they decided to not go all the way to 2024 is they thought the 4-year jump was too much than what they did previously, and they know a lot of people used to see things, they like to see things evolve over time. So 2 years seems like the sweet spot when you're getting forward progress, but not missing out on the rookie years of new workers, not seeing wholesale roster changes after that will alter a company's identity, and not losing a ton of legends at once, etc. Additionally, the old blue background style renders will no longer be used. Instead, everyone has been re-rendered using AI. That's interesting, to give the game world a much fresher and cleaner look. As I know some people have strong feelings on AI content and don't like to use it, I will also be making a version of the default data that's set up to use the old style renders. This will not be an official part of the game, and therefore won't be in the installer, but will be made available via the forums on release day. However, please note if you use this pack, then there will be some picture gaps, at least to begin with, as obviously any character who's brand new to TEW 9 doesn't have a corresponding old render. I'm sure some fans will continue to provide blue background content going forward for those who prefer that style, It just won't be something that will be officially supported. Now, I've used a couple, picture packs that were AI generated from the forums. I'm not going to get into the debate here what AI is or isn't. I can see why they went with this direction because of just the sheer amount of popularity that you see those forum posts have. So I can see why they did that. But it's nice that they are also offering that blue background, old renders for anybody that would like to use those on the forums. So that's kind of a nice feature. So that's been day 3, guys. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of it. If you didn't want to have to go through all of it on your own, you could listen to it in the background, something like that. So I'll do this tomorrow, day 4. I'll do day 5. I'll do them every day that I possibly can to get you guys some information. So I'm Last Son. Hope you guys like the content. Please, if you do, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And I'll see you guys in our next video. Have a wonderful day.